So I'm biting the bullet, folks. We are going. We're going for. We're finally going for Beyond the Black Rainbow. I have approached this one with some trepidation. Uh, I think a lot of it has got to do with just how chewy this is, and I kind of want to go into it, but I don't want to leave much of anything out. So this could go a little long. We'll see what happens. I like as ever. I mean, I never read it. This stuff. This is just straight bombarding. And so yeah. Okay, so Beyond the Black Rainbow came out in 2010, and Canadian film. It was directed by Panos Cosmatos, who a lot of you probably know better as the guy who helmed Mandy. Uh, I haven't seen Mandy. Um, Heard some people love it, some people hate it. I personally have never had a whole lot of interest in seeing it, mainly because I'd seen Beyond the Black Rainbow, and which is perennially unsung, and it's like as a follow up to Beyond the Black Rainbow, Jesus Christ, it seems like an awfully obvious flick. I'm just saying. You know, some of you out there may argue point. That's fine. It's what the comment sections are for. And you know, have at ye. You may have good points. You may convince me differently, but like I said, knock yourself out. Um, this is a really good-looking kind of psychedelic science fiction horror film with a very small cast. I would say there are two main cast members in this. There's Michael Rogers uh, playing the I don't know if I call him a protagonist. Most of the movie seems to it's more like the villain. Most of the movie seems to come through his eyes. Uh, as Dr. Barry Nile and Eva Allen, aka Eva Bourne, I believe, as Elena, who kind of maybe the, I don't know, protagonist or victim, who I don't believe. Yeah, just to give you what kind of a nonlinear ride you're in for. Yeah, I don't think she uttered a single line of dialogue throughout the movie. Um, she's more like kind of like the victim of the movie, or the I don't know, the imperiled one, I guess. She is but just to describe the plot to you, uh, takes place in this big dome-like facility nestled in suburbia. This big kind of futuristic or pseudo-futuristic dome facility, owned by the Arborea Institute, and it's kind of kind of a new age research center exploring the idea of serenity through technology. And a lot of it is high tech, a lot of it is also got a background in drug experiments, but very new age, very, and Dr. Dr. Arborea is kind of the bigwig of the facility. At this point, he's not really in charge anymore. He's just kind of off in the background, and you see him once or twice, and he's just kind of like zombieing away in a bed somewhere. And Barry Nile kind of runs the place, and with a very small staff, and these weird characters called sentienauts, who are basically almost kind of like mind controlled zombies in spacesuits that shamble around the place and get things or get people or whatever. And they seem very intimidating. They seem to have been patients or clients or something, or guinea pigs in the arborea tests. And basically they're kind of used to kind of keep things in order. And and the one patient they have there, the one kind of person who seems to be a subject or a test subject or whatever, is this teenage girl named Elena. And she's obviously got some kind of psychic power going on. She's doesn't speak, like I said. She's obviously a telekinetic or a telepath. I believe she ends up being a telekinetic, but I think at one point she acquires a picture of her mother, who she seems to be disconnected from. And at one point, a nurse, a quote unquote nurse, who kind of watches over her, uh, like takes away the photo or tears up the photo and tells her she can't have it. She's really mean to her. And Elena uses her mind powers to kill this nurse. And so this is the point where Barry looks at her and says, "Oh, you've been busy," and kind of starts realizing, okay, the sleeper's awakened. Meanwhile, you see all these flashbacks with Barry back in the early days, kind of going through experiments with the Arboreas, Dr. Arborea and his wife Anna, and you get the impression that they've undertaken some psychedelic experiments. They're using psychedelic drugs. Barry, off-site, lives with his wife, who seems to be more his handler than his wife, and she's always kind of trying to passive-aggressively keep after him and make sure he wears his appliances. And he doesn't take off his appliances until toward the end of the movie. But everything is kind of an effort to control Elena, or at least keep tabs on her, keep knowledge of how much she has a grip on her abilities, and kind of keep her in place. Eventually, you kind of figure out that Dr. Arborea is kind of really a prisoner of his own device, and he is all junked out on these drugs, and he's zoning off in Happy Land at all time. And you realize that Elena is his daughter, and I think Barry at one point finally decides, okay, we've got to get rid of Elena, and he administers an overdose to Dr. Arborea, and that's the end of him. Eventually, through all this, Barry starts going crazy. Elena escapes the Institute. And these things are all going on simultaneously. Barry goes home, takes off his appliances, and you realize that his eyes are pretty much just black, like a doll's eyes. But as this, and he kills his wife, and he kind of goes rogue, and through through some pretty intense flashbacks that are probably the highlight of the film, it seems as though Barry was very close with the Arborias, and he has this experiment where he's submerged in some kind of weird liquid and sensory deprivation, which of course is real big, and of course, lots and lots and lots and lots of drugs, and he comes out of this basically insane. Somewhere in the process, he kills Anna Arboria, but apparently she is still able to give birth in the midst of all this, and that is Elena. And so, and at that point, you see through flashback, the Arboria basically christens her the new way for humanity, the new wave of human development or whatever, and there seems to be kind of a sibling rivalry. Barry's jealous because he thought he was going to be groomed for that, but meanwhile, she's just walking around the woods trying to establish a world, something in the outside world, which she has never encountered, and Barry's running around like a maniac. Hello, Presto. Hey, buddy, you want to come see these nice people? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But anyway, so Barry is running around committing mayhem and murder. Runs across a couple of stoners in the woods, and that's it for them. And you see just I don't know. Basically, eventually, Barry's just turning into a murder machine. And he runs up on. He actually comes upon Elena, who she can feel him the whole way that he's coming. So he comes up and he's got nothing but bad intentions, and in the ultimate coup for the movie, motherfucker gets his foot stuck in the root of a tree, falls, and kills his fool self. Cracks his head right open. Which seems anticlimactic, but god damn it, ain't it always the way? I mean, the big bad monster that we're all so afraid of ultimately trip up, and they crack their stupid heads open and they die. And we see that happening with monsters and abusers on a daily basis, and it's always kind of nice to see, isn't it? All right. Anyway, so that's over and done with, and Elena wanders out of the woods, wanders past the Arboria grounds, and wanders into suburbia, and you see all these little houses at night with their lights on, and she crosses the street and crosses over into civilization, crosses over into our world, and bam, it ends right there. And yeah, I pretty much blew the whole plot for you, but it's a chewy one, like I said, and I have a lot to say on it, but just the point where she crosses that threshold, and then that's all you get. And it's just like, man, just food for thought. What happens when she crosses that threshold? Either humanity gets taken to a whole new place, or humanity goes down in a flaming pile of shit. What's going to happen? You know, anything could happen when that line is crossed. Just with the power she has, and it could go one way or the other. And but the new level of human consciousness is about to meet us. What's she gonna do? What's she gonna think? So yeah, you could say that this was a very affecting piece of work for me, and kind of tripped me out. It had us thinking a lot about just the '60s counterculture, or at least what it grew up into. I mean, '60s counterculture, all things considered, you know, whatever else you want to say about them, they seem to be a nice enough bunch of folks. They had the best of intentions, and we all know where that leads. But I don't think the boomers have done a terrific job, generally speaking. But they kind of ate their own tail, and you know, now it's all much like it could in the movie go down like a flaming pile of shit. But it kind of got me thinking, just like the counterculture. They gave us social consciousness, which on the whole, the civil rights movement, anti-war movement, whatever, is pretty good. On the other hand, just like I said, they turned into kind of a weird hybrid. Just when they said, oh, well, we got to pack it all up and start making money, or probably the kinder, gentler side of that, which is, oh, let's all go back to nature and be gurus. And some people do that well. Some people will go out and just have their little enclosure out in the woods or whatever. Other folks form these nice little cults, and I could mention a lot of places, some of which are very litigious in nature, others of which committed mass suicide, but you get the picture. And wow, where's that all leading us? That's probably not a good thing, and it feels like kind of a big, almost like disturbing farewell to that generation and their influence, which in 2010, whether that was Cosmatos' aim or theme, or what he was going for, I have no idea. Uh, seems to follow, in part at least, with Mandy and kind of the weird ass cult in that movie. But what I'm gonna say is, I don't know, I just walked away thinking about that for a while, and yeah, just maybe why a lot of new age stuff doesn't really wash with me is because I see stuff like that, and I see kind of where everybody went, and initially good, if naive ideals turning really corrupt and awful, and possibly be having their brains eaten by their own whatever spirituality, money hungry, whatever. Uh, watch the movie. Go watch the movie. Roll it around in your head for a while, and just tons of collapse and more fun to come. Okay, guys, that's it for the time being. We will jam again.